Fallout New Vegas is an amazing game. And yes, I'm using AI for this voice for privacy reasons. Anyway, let's get on to the video. So to truly understand the brilliance of Fallout New Vegas, you have to look at the geographical layout of the Mojave Wasteland itself. The map is not a random collection of points of interest thrown together to fill space. It is a carefully structured narrative corridor. When your character emerges from Doc Mitchell's house in Goodsprings, you are a blank slate. You have a single clue: track down the man in the checkered suit who put a bullet in your skull. But look at how the developers at Obsidian Entertainment guide your journey. They don't use invisible walls or artificial barriers to keep you on track. Instead, they use environmental design and mechanical threat. If you try to take the direct path straight north toward the flashing neon lights of New Vegas Strip, you are immediately cut off by a terrifying swarm of high-level Deathclaws at Quarry Junction, or a deadly wall of Cazadors in the hills. The game subtly nudges you to take the long way around. It forces you on a massive, curving highway down south through Primm, looping past the radioactive ruins of Searchlight, and heading back up north through Novac and Boulder City. This geographical loop is a masterclass in narrative pacing. By forcing you to walk this path, the game ensures that you encounter the political landscape of the desert organically before you are ever asked to decide its future. In Primm, you see a town tearing itself apart because the new California Republic is too stretched thin to provide basic security. In Nipton, you witness the absolute brutal savagery of Caesar's Legion, standing amidst the burning crucifixes and realizing the true stakes of the coming war. By the time you finally earn enough caps to bypass the Securitron gates at the Strip, you aren't just a player looking for a paycheck. You are an eyewitness to a broken world. You have met the farmers, the soldiers, the raiders, and the refugees. When you finally step into Lucky 38 to face Mr. House, or cross the river to meet Caesar at the fort, the choice of who should rule Hoover Dam isn't a simple choice between a good or bad ending. It is a deeply complex philosophical debate. Every single faction is fundamentally flawed. The NCR offers democratic freedom but brings crushing taxes, bureaucratic corruption, and imperialist desire to annex everything in its path. Caesar's Legion offers absolute safety and order on the roads, but it is built on a foundation of brutal slavery, cultural erasure, and a total disregard for human life. Mr. House offers technological salvation and a vision for the stars, but he demands cold, calculating, autocratic control over the people below him. The game respects your intelligence enough to step back and let you decide which flawed ideology is worth fighting for, or if you should just throw them all away and claim an independent Mojave for yourself. While the narrative pacing of New Vegas is a masterpiece, the game's combat mechanics are where the raw reality of surviving the Mojave truly sets in. Modern shooters often opt for a completely streamlined, arcade-like experience where every gun feels virtually identical, and shooting is just a brainless reflex. Obsidian Entertainment took the exact opposite approach. They designed a mechanical combat loop that forces you to balance tactical preparation against the cold, unforgiving math of the wasteland. The defining crown jewel of this combat system is the inclusion of distinct ammunition types and the damage threshold mechanic. In most shooters, a bullet is just a bullet. In New Vegas, shooting an enemy with the wrong round is a death sentence. The game uses a strict damage threshold system, meaning heavily armored targets, like Brotherhood of Steel Paladins or Elite Enclave Remnants, will completely shrug off standard ammunition. To survive, you have to think like a real gunsmith. You have to open your inventory mid-fight and actively swap your magazines. Facing a swarm of soft-skinned Cazadors or Deathclaws, load up hollow point rounds to tear through their flesh. Facing a squad of heavily armored soldiers, swap to armor-piercing or hand-loaded match rounds crafted manually at a reload bench. This mechanical depth forces a player to engage with combat as a tactical puzzle rather than a mindless clickfest, and is beautifully expanded by the iconic Vault-Tec assisted targeting system, better known as VATS. Far from being just a simple cheat code to pause the game, VATS acts as a brilliant bridge between old-school isometric turn-based strategy and modern real-time action. It allows you to target specific limbs to completely alter the flow of battle, aim for a Deathclaw's legs to cripple its movement, and stop its terrifying sprint. Target a raider's right arm to force them to drop their weapon entirely, or play at a high risk, high reward game and go straight for a headshot to trigger a cinematic, slow motion critical explosion. When you combine these target mechanics with unique weapon modifications, like throwing a long-range scope onto a hunting rifle or attaching a suppressor to a classic pistol, combat ceases to be a separate minigame. It becomes a direct extension of your character's personality and survival strategy. You aren't just playing a shooter. You are mastering a complex, interlocking web of human game design that rewards patience, intelligence, and preparation over raw reflexes. It is raw, it is gritty, and it is exactly why the combat of the Mojave continues to hold a legendary status. And you know how in most modern games like Fallout 4 or Fallout 76, and other games like that has essential NPCs who can't be killed and are important to the plot. Well, in Fallout New Vegas, it throws essential NPCs way out the window, grab a 9mm handgun from the start, and aim at Doc Mitchell open fire. And loot him, it's your choice. You can take down any character that seems to make you a little mad, but make sure to quick save first. When you finally step back and look at the massive, interlocking web of mechanics, geography, and storytelling, you realize the ultimate truth about Fallout New Vegas. It is not a game designed to simply keep you occupied. It is an experience that respects your autonomy as a human being. In a modern gaming landscape dominated by automated algorithms, endless live service grinds, and games designed purely to harvest your passive attention span, New Vegas stands as a monumental fortress of pure human artistic passion. The developers at Obsidian Entertainment didn't treat you like a consumer data point to be manipulated. They treated you like an author who was co-writing a story with them. They gave you a brutal, flawed, beautifully gray wasteland, and then they had the absolute courage to step completely out of the way and let you decide its fate. Whether you choose to secure the future of the Mojave under the banner of the NCR, rule it with the iron fist of Caesar's Legion, guide it into the technological future with Mr. House, or set it completely free with an independent yes-man ending, the choice is authentically yours. The game doesn't judge you with a binary good or bad screen. It simply reflects your own morality back at you, forcing you to live with the consequences of what you built. That is the true magic behind the Mojave. It is why, over a decade later, we are still modding this engine, still analyzing its characters, and still walking these dusty roads. It proves that real, intentional human design is completely timeless. The algorithms can try to control our feeds, and corporations can try to sanitize our games. But as long as we keep returning to spaces built with this much soul, real gaming culture will never die. Because in the end, games might change, but war never changes. If you had enjoyed this Yap session, please consider subscribe and like and comment. If you want, it's up to you if you want to.